Good morning, students. This is class 10th, subject English, and today we are going to start chapter 6, The 100 Dresses 2. This is the second part of chapter 5, The 100 Dresses 1, and this is my lecture number 1. Topics to be covered today. First of all, we shall read chapter sketch, then introduction of the chapter, and then chapter highlights, and at last we shall discuss homework solution of lecture 1 of poem 5, The Bowl Poem, that is written by John Barryman. And this chapter 6th, it is The 100 Dresses 2, and this is written by Albasor Esther. The 100 Dresses 2. Let us begin with chapter sketch. In the second part of the story, means first part was the 100 Dresses 1, and this sixth chapter, the 100 Dresses 2, is the second part of this story. Wanda Petronsky leaves the school without any prior information. She doesn't even attend the school when she was being announced a winner of the drawing contest. Her father writes a letter about the reason. So the 100 Dresses 2 begins with the letter received by the principal from Vanda's father. The students feel ashamed for their behavior, especially Peggy and Maddie. They both realize their mistake and write a letter to her in a friendly manner. Vanda replies and requests Miss Mason to give her two drawings to Peggy and Maddie. So this is the chapter sketch. Now let us move ahead. Now about the characters. Already we have read about the main characters of this chapter in the 100 Dresses 1. That is our fifth chapter. Vanda Petronsky is the main character of this chapter. A poor Polish girl. Vanda Petronsky was a poor Polish girl with a funny name who wears some same blue dress always and boasts of having 100 dresses. Next character is Peggy. Peggy always teases Vanda. She creates a game to ask Vanda about dresses, and she was different from others. She never made Vanda cry by teasing. She was the most popular and pretty girl in the school. Now, next character, Maddie. She was very close friend of Peggy, a poor girl, but never boast like Vanda Petronsky. She was also a poor girl, but she never boast. She was not really a cruel girl, but lacked courage. She was very coward. Mr. Petronsky was also a very important character. Vanda's father, who wrote the letter to Miss Mason about Vanda's absence in the school. Next is Miss Mason. Miss Mason is not only a good teacher but also a sensitive human being. She is also admired and respected by everyone. She gets upset when Vanda, the winner of the drawing competition, is not present to receive the girls' medal. And she was a class teacher of Vanda, and she helps the students and always supports them. The 100 Dresses 2 Introduction. In continuation of the previous lesson was the 100 Dresses 1. This, the 100 Dresses 2, reveals why Vanda Petronsky had not been coming to school. The Petronsky family decided to move to a big city where no one would care about their unfamiliar name. On hearing the note, Maddie and Peggy got anxious as they realized that they would never get a chance for making amends for all the teasing they had done. Both the girls get relieved only on learning that Venda liked them and had dedicated one of the 100 dresses drawings to each one of them. So this is the introduction of the chapter, the 100 dresses 2. Now chapter highlights. Miss Mason makes the classroom fully attentive before reading out the letter by Venda's father informing about her absence. In previous chapter, the 100 dresses 1, we read that Venda Petronsky was absent for 3 days. She was not coming to school, and there the result of drawing contest was declared by Miss Mason, and everyone got surprised to know that Venda Petronsky had won the first prize because she had drawn 100 dresses. So now Miss Mason received a letter from Venda's father and she asked the classroom to be very attentive. So the Petronsky family decides to settle in a big city to avoid the humiliation of Venda at the school. So she informed the class, Miss Mason informed the class in a very sad voice that Venda and Jake, Venda's brother, would not come to the school anymore. This was written in the letter received by Miss Mason, and that letter was written by Mr. Petronsky. Now everybody got shocked after listening to the letter of Mr. Petronsky. Every student felt sorry for Venda. Maddie was very upset and couldn't concentrate on her studies. When Venda was in the school, Maddie didn't like the manner in which Peggy talked to her, but she didn't have courage to speak in front of Peggy. Maddie felt herself coward as she never stopped Peggy from making fun of Venda. Maddie and Peggy now went to find Venda at her house at Boggins Heights because they wanted to convey the message to Venda Petronsky that her 100 dresses were very beautiful. That's why they went to Boggins Heights, where Venda lived. They couldn't meet her as she had already left the place with her family. Peggy tried to defend her behavior, but Maddie was not happy for all of that. So both Maddie and Peggy hurried towards Boggins Heights, where Venda lived, but nobody answered when they knocked at Venda's door, as she and her family had already left. Peggy and Maddie now decided to write a letter to Venda Petronsky telling her that she had won the contest. So now they wrote it and they even inquired many things from Venda Petronsky. First, they informed her that her drawings were magnificent. They further asked about her new place and school. Peggy and Maddie wrote a letter to Venda Petronsky, but Venda did not reply for a long time. Venda wrote a letter to Miss Mason to give her drawings to the girls as she had new ones at her home. The day before the holidays, Miss Mason announced that she had received a letter from Venda Petronsky, and Venda conveyed the message that her drawings be distributed to the girls of room 13 with green dress given to Peggy and the blue one to Maddie. So those two specific dresses were given to Maddie and Peggy. She missed her old school and her teacher. Venda Petronsky wrote in her letter that she missed her old school and her teacher. Venda wanted to gift special drawing to Peggy and Maddie, a green dress, and a blue one respectively. Maddie found her own face in the drawing she got from Miss Mason, sketched by Wenda. So, when Maddie got that drawing, so both Maddie and Peggy noticed themselves in Wenda's drawing, upon which Peggy asserted that Wenda must have liked them. She rushed to Peggy's house to tell that first of all Maddie noticed that her face was drawn. Then she rushed to Peggy's house to tell the same. Both Peggy and Maddie found Peggy's face in the green dress gifted to Peggy, and Maddie found her face in her dress that was gifted by Wenda Petronsky. Maddie cried for her behavior and promised herself not to be a silent spectator anymore ever if she was to lose her close friend. So she decided that she would never remain quiet. Peggy consoled her by saying that Wenda liked them because Wenda asked Miss Mason to gift these two dresses to Peggy and Maddie. Maddie agreed and blinked away the tears that came every time she thought of Wenda Petronsky. So, this is all about the chapter The 100 Dresses 2. So today we have done introduction of the chapter and chapter highlight. Now let us talk about homework. Your homework is to answer the following questions. Read the chapter and find out the answers of given questions. Question number 1. What did Mr. Petronsky's letter say? Next question. Is Miss Mason angry with the class or is she unhappy and upset? Question 3. How does Maddie feel after listening to the note from Wenda's father? Question 4. What does Maddie want to do? Then question 5. What excuses does Peggy think up for her behavior and why? So these are the questions. You have to write the answers and send me the snapshots of the answers on my ID. This is class 10th, subject English, poem 5th, The Bowl Poem. This is written by John Berryman and this is my lecture 1 homework solution. So you were asked to find out the answers of given questions of the bowl poem. So let us discuss the answers of questions. Before discussing question answers, let us discuss the summary of the bowl poem which we read in our previous lecture. The poet is talking about a little boy who has lost his ball. He was playing with his ball. The ball skipped from his hand and went into the nearby water body. The poet says that the sight of the boy losing his favorite ball made him think about the boy and his reaction to this situation. He further says that the boy was helplessly looking into the water where his ball had gone and his childhood memories had also gone with that ball. He was very sad and was trembling with fear. He got so immersed in his sorrow that he kept standing near the harbor for a very long time and kept on looking for his ball. The poet says that he could console him that he may get new balls, or he could also give him some money to buy another ball. But he stops himself from doing so because he thinks that the money may bring a new ball but will not bring the memories and feelings attached to the lost ball That's why the poet says that money is external. It can bring materialistic things for us, but not the memories. He further says that the time has come for the boy to learn his responsibilities. Here the poet wants to say that now the boy will learn the toughest lesson of life, the lesson of accepting the harsh realities of life, that one day we will lose our loved ones and our loved things. So now let us discuss the question answers. Question 1. It was, why does the poet say, I would not intrude on him? Why doesn't he offer him money to buy another ball? So the poet wants the boy to experience the loss. Means the poet wants the boy to learn the epistemology of loss or nature of loss. He should learn that it is the part of our life. That's why the poet doesn't want to interfere the boy and doesn't want to offer him money to buy another ball. Because according to him, money or another ball is worthless. The boy was trying to understand his responsibility because he had lost something which could not be brought back. So this is the answer of the first question. Now let us move to next. Now second question. It is staring down all his young days into the harbor where his ball went. Do you think the boy has had the ball for a long time? Is it linked to the memories of days when he played with it? Yes, so the answer is yes, the boy has had the ball for a long time. That is since his childhood. Yes, it is linked with the memories of days when he played with it. So we can say that it seems like the boy has had the ball for a long time and he had more affection with the ball. When it bounced into the water, all his memories of the childhood days flashed in his mind, and this led to a realization that those moments would not come back, just like the ball. Question third. What does in the world of possessions mean? So the answer is, in the world of possessions means people like to possess all sorts of things in the world. Money is external because it can buy only material objects. It cannot buy everything that one loses. So in the world of possession means the materialistic world. Here everything and every action is made to possess something, whether it is the possession of land, property, money or anything else. So money can buy only material objects. It can't buy everything that one loses, means it cannot buy our memories. Next question is, do you think the boy has lost anything earlier? Pick out the words that suggest the answer. No, it seems that the boy has lost anything earlier. The word that suggests us, it is he senses first responsibility. This sentence suggests the answer. So, no, the boy hasn't lost anything earlier. So, this sentence is suggesting us the answer. Now, let us move to next question. Question 5th was, what does the poet say the boy is learning from the loss of the ball? Try to explain this in your own words. So, the poet says that the boy is learning to cope up with the loss of the ball. He is experiencing grief and learning to grow up in this world of possessions. He learns that there are so many things in life that are to be lost and cannot be brought back. It is useless to feel sorrow for it. Means the poet suggests that from the loss of the the boy is just learning about the loss and how it hurts. The boy gets upset with this loss. So the boy is learning what it means to lose something. So next question is, what message does John Berryman want to convey through this poem? The message that the poet wants to convey through this poem is the importance of loss and responsibility in our life. We shouldn't forget the importance of possessions. Next question. How does the boy feel at the loss of his ball? The boy is very much troubled at the loss of his ball. His ball falls in water. He is much upset as he has a long association with the ball. So this is all about the homework solution of the poem, The Ball Poem. This is fifth poem. This poem is written by John Berryman. So you all are supposed to write the question answers in your fair notebook. Thank you. If you like our videos, please press like button and subscribe our channel.